This was a really humbling experience. Never mind. I'm actually great.
Back in the harbour again. There was a time when someone loved this boat. It's a reminder of time flies, and we should all do our best to enjoy our time. So let's go and enjoy the time aboard the Fisher. And now it's time to do some prep work with the engine. Prepping means aligning in this case. Oh, no A-frame! Wow! Can you believe it? It's wide open in here. Wow. Seems like the hatch has started leaking, which is curious because it was sealed just 1.5 years ago. It's typical. Boat needs care all the time, and you have to do it yourself. It's part of having a boat. You can't always run to the workshop. I have this dehumidifier. It has stopped now. It's probably because the wire, the hose has fallen off, and it has just filled up the tank completely. Let me show you something. I have obviously mismeasured a bit when first measuring where the engine mounts were supposed to be placed. It's hard to see maybe from this direction, but the shaft is about 10 millimeters to that side, but only 7 millimeters to that side. It's quite a lot. You wish to have the shaft aligned as much near center as possible. This is why I have to try to move the engine a little bit sideways that way, so I can steal a millimeter or two. And that is also the point of having the possibility to move the engine mount a little bit sideways. And that is possible, so let's try. Better, it's 6 and 8. There is 2 millimeter difference for it to be in the middle. That's not bad. A little bit more, I guess. That was a little bit more. Let's have a look. Yeah, it seems to be aligned in the middle of the movement of the shaft now. I mean, the shaft tube. This is the shaft tube, and I'm moving the shaft sideways and trying to get it in the middle. Then I will put these two, what's it called? Not sure. I will put them together, and then I will measure the distance in between these two on each side. That is to measure how the engine is aligned longitudinally, but forward versus backward. I need to see what this is called in English. Let me do a check on the telephone right now. So it is actually flange, something like that. Okay, I could have a bolt now keeping these two about together, but I don't have that right now. But I will use this to keep it about together. Then I will pick a blade that will fit the boat, not the thinnest one, and I will see. Yeah, this is not bad at all. And then I will do the other side. It is actually not bad at all. I will do a little larger, thicker field blade. Field blade. No, that will not enter. It will enter on this side. It will enter on this side. So there is a little bit difference. Let me see if the 0.4 will enter on this side, because that can tell me how much difference there is. Okay, 0.4. There it is. There it is. This tells me that the front of the motor should be moved a little bit that way. but not the back end. So let's do that. We know now that the difference between this side and that side is 0.2 millimeter, 1/5 of a millimeter. And I'm sorry, I have no idea how to interpret that to inches, but it's very, very, very little. Still, I would like to see if I can adjust it a little bit. There is 1 millimeter difference for having this in the middle of the shaft. That is okay, I think. What do you think? Let me know if you have any comments. So I will fine adjust a little bit more, but then I think we are okay sideways. Good, good. Well done, I hope. And we must also make sure that these are sitting tight, so these will not move sideways. How can I do that? I can tighten this very good, very much. That's one way to do it, but you can also put stopping screws sort of like on each side. What I can do is to, of course, mark with a permanent painter around these to see if there are any movements. It opened up. Sarah is picking up a package from a postal box. Sort of an automatic opening thing. Well, that worked okay.
Big bitch.
We are going to the yellow house, the old yellow house, to clean the diesel tank for the fisher. It has been used for almost 50 years, and I must assume that it's dirty inside. However, there is no large hole to get access to the interior, so I will clean it first with some ordinary dish soap to get rid of any leftover diesel, which I don't expect there to be any left of, but just to make sure. Okay, so I'm now filling up the tank. I've filled the ordinary dish soap, and I must confess I did put a little bit of salmiak into it too. You see now that the tank is about full, and strangely the bathtub seems to take the weight so far. So I will leave this during this weekend with the hot water, that will be cold of course, and with soap and salmiak. Right. This is Johan and I. We are going to place the Christmas lights outside the house because my wife wanted that way. Let's go ahead and we'll make a short video on that. Excellent. Indian Pale Ale. Nice. I bought this grandfather's clock on the market the other day. I paid about $20. It didn't work at that time, but it seems it was only some adjustment of the clockwork. that was necessary, then it was actually okay. So it's okay. I like it. I'm at the carpenter store and buying some planks for the cabin up in the mountain. I'm going to complete, hopefully, the path to the house cabin. I mean, there is only 4 or 5 meters left, and the weather is really becoming cold up there. It snows sometimes, as we could see in the last video. It was snowing, and there are 2 days now with reported rain, which will be great, because then it's still not snow, but it will be very cold. So let's see. Back in the harbor again. Very nice day. Oh, some idiot has left some rubbish here. What's this? Ah. All right. Just let's get rid of it. Seemingly, there is a difference between the two sides of the propeller shaft tube. If you see on this side, it's very narrow, but on this side, there is quite a lot of space. Let's try a 0.5 maybe. See if that gets within. No, it don't, and below it does. Yesterday we measured the sideways space. Today we are the upper space and the lower space. The engine is sitting a little bit high up or a little bit low down. But it also is a point of centering the shaft up versus down in the middle of this shaft tube. It's about the same. I will lift the engine just a little bit, because I will reckon it's more likely that the engine will sag over time. I must take into consideration the possibility that the engine bed is not totally correct made. You know, we have covered it in fiberglass, and the thickness may vary. So, yeah. So, after adjusting quite a bit, I will explain what I have done and the results. Okay, first, I aligned these on all 4 engine mounts, the height from there to up, so it was the same. That should align the engine this way. And then, that did actually affect this horizontal alignment of the flanges. So, that's why I needed to move the engine a bit that way. Then I adjusted the vertical alignment. I got a tip from a viewer that warned me a little bit about placing this that high up on the bolt, the engine, as it can stress the bolt. He said that it was better to fill in on the engine bed instead, to sort of insert a block of wood, piece of wood. Yeah, that is probably very wise. Still, I'm going to go with this. This engine only needs, unfortunately, to go on to run on about a little more than half speed to get hull speed on this hull. And it means the engine is too big. And it's not good, of course, because the turbo might suit. But it means also that these are overspec'd for the power I'm actually pulling out of this engine, except when I do stress running hard, for example, backing up, navigating in the harbor. But still, I reckon that this should do. If you totally disagree with me, please don't hesitate to say so. It's not always I follow the advice I get, but I always listen to it. We are going to the cabin up in the mountains tonight, so I can work there tomorrow. Let's go home. Back on the cabin up in the mountains again. We just arrived and I'm carrying building materials down to the cabin from the car. And tomorrow I will start with what is hopefully the end of this pathway that I'm now walking. All right, 2 planks left. It's 2 by 8, so they are quite heavy to carry. So okay. So I have this short distance left to complete the access path to the cabin. Now I will start with making a new step down layer out here, supported by something I have to make underneath here. And then I may make a staircase down here, or a new layer and then a staircase. I will have to see about that. Forstår at nå ikke timelapse.
Looks like Australia. Do we have any Aussies? You hear that?
Oh yes.
That's the sound of rock. And that's where we stop.
It's so reassuring for me to have Sarah's expertise telling me what is the correct depth.
Helge was not impressed by my digging, so we're gonna have to redo it. We must not take his critiques too personal, because I only did what he told me to do, so it's really just critiquing himself. Come inspect this hole.
Oh, that's most amazing holes in the history of holes.
All right. We're gonna have a pizza break soon. Or at least it was promised, but I'm not sure it's coming. I didn't see any pizza when we packed. In Norway, we don't use gloves. We simply don't need it.
one. Ja, nice. Det er kaldt. Å ja. Så litt sånn i øynene.
If we have a closer look, mine looks much better than whatever that mess is. Hello? Terrible. It's important to stop while you're still winning, so I'm never gonna do that again. This was a really humbling experience. Turns out I'm not good at everything. Never mind. I'm actually great. This plank ain't going anywhere. If you disagree, please leave a hate comment.
And we're done. All right. We're now done with the path to the cabin, and we did all this in one day. That's amazing, and I couldn't do it without Sarah's help. That's just great. So now we are going celebrating. Yes. During winter, when this staircase is wet and it gets cold, this will be insanely slippery. And I will now put some anyway to on the edge to make it less slippery. Back in the harbour again. It's a cold day, and I can't say I'm looking forward to working in the boat in that temperature, but it's still useful work, and whatever we do now, we will not have to do during summer. We can do more useful things at that time. I almost forgot. We are getting closer to Christmas, and what is more natural on a boat than to do some Christmas decorations? So let's do that first. It creates a good mood in the harbour and hopefully a little bit of warmth. We'll see. Unfortunately, the boat is solid frozen and it is very slippery on the deck, which makes it actually a little bit dangerous to walk there, so I have to be very, very careful. Very. As the engine are soon done, aligned and ready just to rest, till the summer, then there are other issues popping up. One is then to continue laying the floor supports, and I wish to do that in the sense that I insulate the noise from the engine as much as possible. I mentioned that in several videos earlier, and one of the possibilities is to make a separate encasing underneath the floor. Not sure if that is possible, but I can try. I need more of the 1.5 by 3 inch, I think it is, supports, and I need also to do some thinking. That's changing topics again. If you can see here, it is the exhaust hose is back there and the engine is here. How far is it over there? Is it more than 3 meters? I can tell you that it definitely is that, which means it is actually installed outside the specs of the engine, I guess. So it means that I might have to move that output, can we say that? For the exhaust to somewhere in this area. And the smartest thing is probably to have it as close to that wall as possible. Then I can make a what we call it's a swan neck, sort of like the hose going up and then down again. Why am I taking that into consideration? No, it's just if it has anything to do with the floor, then I should think about it. So I will make a note of that. I just thought of it standing here. Okay, let's continue. The tank has been left here all weekend. We can let the water out, and then we need to fill it again with fresh water just to clean it. And then after that, we will use another sterilizer, I guess. The only place I suspect it really is not very cleaned at all is in the top of the tank. And hopefully I'm wrong, but I don't think I am. This is going to take a lot of time. The tank is now emptied, and I will now give it a little bit of fresh water to see how much I can clean. Then I will use this. It's actually for sterilizing the beer bottles, but it's a good powder, and I think it should be okay also for this. It's what I have. Lots of contaminated water came out of the tank when I poured new hot water into it. It's good, but not excellent. Then the tank is filled up and will now be left to sterilize overnight. So the tank has now been left for overnight with the sterilizer. So then we just have to give this tank some time to drain, and I will then clean it with fresh water another time to get rid of any leftovers of the sterilizing cleaner. And then this tank should be quite clean, not as clean as to go with fresh water, but clean enough to do with diesel. We still have a few diesel filters. Yesterday I dismounted this. It's from 2017, so it's not very old, but it is only delivering quite cold water. These are very expensive, I'm afraid. It seems it's possible to change the internal thermostat, and I've ordered that part. This way we can both use this battery without buying a new one, which is not good for the environment, I guess, because this is still usable for many years yet, and I will save a lot of money. So hopefully that should be okay. So I've just picked up the thermostat for the mixing battery for the shower, and they were so friendly. I got to borrow this special tool to get it out of the box. And also I bought a few gaskets, special gaskets to collect any filth that are in the system, the water tube system. So let's see if this works. It's possible to save a lot of money if this works. Very exciting. Oh yes. This is better. Now it's hot. It's working. Well, isn't this charming? Just wait for tonight. See if we can get a picture of it. Back in the yard, just to check out the Christmas spirit. And this is how it looks when you run past with the car or walk. I bought Christmas food, and this is what we eat on Christmas Eve. So what is this then? It says 4-part of a lamb. It has been dried for a few months and salted, of course. The day before Christmas Eve, we put it in fresh water overnight so it can soak water, and then we do not boil it. We damp it for about 4 hours, and then it's ready. Well, thanks for watching. It's what we had time for this time. I hope you will have a nice Christmas, and we will have a Happy New Year. Maybe a video before that. We'll have to see about that. For Christmas, I wish lots of subscribers and likes. If you have any wishes for this channel, which is what I will be able to give you, please put it in the comments below, and I will try to see what we can do. In the meantime, have a very nice Christmas, and please do enjoy the festivities as good as possible within your possibilities. And we will do the same. Excellent. Until next time, have a great life.